Have you ever found yourself like in the grocery store? Maybe you're just killing time waiting for the rain to stop or actually shopping and something grabs your eye. Could be, say, a dark chocolate bar. Looks good. And right there, big letters, sugar free. And your first thought is probably, yes, perfect. Right, a treat, but without the sugar guilt. But then maybe you flip it over, glance at the ingredients, and instead of sugar, you see something like maltitol. Sounds a bit technical, maybe a little
Yeah.
mysterious. You think, okay, no sugar, that's good. But what is this maltitol stuff anyway? Is it really, healthy, or is this the magic bullet for guilt-free snacks, or is there like
Suck that Estrad.
a deeper story?
That's exactly what we're diving into today. We're going to unpack maltitol. We'll look at the good stuff, the reasons manufacturers use it and why it looks so tempting on the shelf. But crucially, we're also going to look at the downsides, the things maybe you don't know, and figure out what that sugar-free label really means for how healthy a product actually is. The goal, like always, is to get you the key info, the surprising bits, fast, so you feel confident making choices, not buried in, like, jargon.
Okay, right. Let's get into it. Because, just looking at it, maltitol seems like a brilliant idea for cutting sugar. You see it everywhere now, don't you? Chocolates, candy, baked things. It's obvious why companies like it. But hang on, you called it a sugar alcohol earlier? That sounds so weird. Like, how could it be sugar and alcohol?
Yeah.
What does that actually mean chemically?
Yeah, good question. It's pretty central to understanding this. So sugar alcohols, or the technical term is polyols, they are carbohydrates. But the name is a bit misleading. There's no ethanol, the alcohol in drinks, so not alcoholic like that. Their chemical structure is just slightly different from regular sugar. And that difference is key. It means our bodies don't absorb them completely. And because they're not fully absorbed, they give you fewer calories than sugar. And they affect your blood sugar differently too. It's really that specific structure that gives them the sweet taste and the potential issues we'll talk about.
Okay. So it's the incomplete absorption that's the trick. Makes sense. So let's talk benefits then. What makes maltitol so popular? If I'm looking at that sugar-free chocolate, why does it seem like a better choice?
Well, the biggest thing is probably how much it tastes like actual sugar. That's huge. First off, sweetness. It's really close. We're talking like 75% to maybe 90% as sweet as regular table sugar. So when you eat something made with it, you don't usually get that weird kind of chemical aftertaste some other sweeteners have. It just tastes
Right.
satisfying. Like getting almost the full dessert experience, but,
Yeah.
without all the sugar.
Okay, that's a big plus. Taste is king, right?
Definitely. Then there's the calorie count. That's a major selling point. Because of that incomplete absorption we mentioned, maltitol has roughly half the calories of sugar. It's about 2.1 calories per gram. Sugar have 4. So
Yeah.
if you're watching calories, trying to manage weight, whatever, seeing sugar-free thanks to maltitol looks really good. Same-ish taste, potentially half the energy cost.
Half the calories. Okay, that is appealing.
And another big one, especially if you're thinking about kids or just your own teeth, dental health. Unlike regular sugar, sucrose, maltitol doesn't promote tooth decay. Basically, the bacteria in your mouth that cause cavities, they can't really feed on sugar alcohols like maltitol easily. That's why it's in so much sugar-free gum, mints, that kind of thing. Sweet taste, but doesn't feed the cavity bugs.
Right, I've seen that on gum wrappers. Makes sense.
And finally, for people who need to manage their blood sugar levels, like individuals with diabetes, maltitol is generally better than sugar. It has a much smaller impact on blood glucose. Now, it's not zero impact. It still has some calories and carbs. But its glycemic index, which measures how fast a food raises blood sugar, is way lower than sugars. Sugar's around maybe 65 on the GI scale. Maltitol is more like 35 to 50, so it means a slower, gentler rise in blood sugar, which can be really important depending on your health needs. Kind of smooths things out.
Wow, okay, so let me recap. Tastes almost like sugar, half the calories, better for your teeth, and easier on blood sugar. That sounds amazing, actually. Almost too good to be true. It really hits all the right notes for wanting treats without the downside. But I feel like this is where the but comes in. Because as great as all that sounds, there's usually another side to the story, isn't there? Especially on this deep dive.
You nailed it, yes.
Yeah.
While those benefits are real and pretty attractive, there are definitely some, let's call them sour truths that often get glossed over. The biggest one, the one most people might have heard about or experienced, is the potential laxative effect. This isn't always mild. If you consume a lot of it, the figure often cited is more than 90 grams will really get things moving significantly. That happens because the maltitol that doesn't get absorbed travels down, draws water into your colon, and then the gut bacteria fermented causes issues.
90 grams sounds like a lot, though.
It does, but you might not need that much to feel something, especially if you have a sensitive stomach or maybe IBS or something like that. Even smaller amounts can cause problems.
Yeah.
We're talking gas, bloating, maybe cramps, even diarrhea. The research suggests these kinds of issues can pop up at doses around 40 grams or more. Now, think back to that chocolate bar. If maltitol is the number 1 ingredient, how much of the bar is 40 grams? Might be less than you think. Suddenly, that guilt-free treat doesn't feel so great if it causes, discomfort. Really makes you think about everything in moderation.
40 grams. Yeah, that could easily be like half a bar or something, depending on the size. Okay, so maybe not the best choice for pre-movie snacking then. Got it. But hang on, despite these effects, maltitol is usually labeled generally recognized as safe, GRAS.
Right.
How does that work? How can it be safe but also cause potentially pretty unpleasant side effects?
That's a really important point, and yeah, it confuses people. So GRAS status means experts have looked at the science and decided it's safe for its intended use at typical levels. It's not saying it's harmless for everyone in any amount. Think about it. A tiny bit of maltitol in one piece of sugar-free gum. That's a typical level. Probably fine for most people. But if it's the main ingredient in a big chocolate bar and someone eats the whole thing, that's likely way beyond the typical consumption level assumed in the safety assessment. And that's when the digestive issues are more likely. So yeah, it's not inherently dangerous, but safe doesn't mean zero side effects, especially if you overdo it. Which leads straight back to the main advice you always hear for this stuff: moderation. That word moderation carries a lot of weight here.
Right. Generally recognized as safe for intended use, not a green light to eat heaps of it. That distinction is key. Okay, that really puts things in perspective. It's not just about what it is, but how much. So let's bring it back to that chocolate bar again. You're standing there in the aisle, you see sugar-free. You now know about maltitol's pros and cons. How do you use this info to make a smarter choice right then and there?
Okay, this is where you need to become a bit of a label detective. Move beyond the big print on the front. It's all about the ingredient list. Super important skill for anyone, really. Remember, ingredients are listed by weight. The first one listed, that's what the product mostly consists of, then the second, and so on down the line.
Okay, yeah,
Most,
at least.
exactly. So, pick up that sugar-free dark chocolate. If maltitol is the very first ingredient, that tells you straight up, the main thing you're eating in that bar is maltitol. Compare that to, say, the second ingredient in our example, which was cocoa mass, basically, ground up cacao beans. Now, cocoa mass has health benefits too, but if it's second on the list, it's not the star of the show, ingredient-wise. This is totally different from a really high-quality dark chocolate where cocoa mass would likely be number 1, the main component.
Ah, I see. So the sugar-free label tells you what's missing, but the ingredient list tells you what's actually there in its place and how much. It's specific, that label, but it doesn't paint the whole picture. Is that fair?
That's exactly it. Perfect analogy. It connects to the bigger idea. Sugar-free does not automatically mean healthy, especially if the main thing replacing the sugar is maltitol, rather than, say, more of the good stuff like actual cocoa. It makes you stop and ask, okay, what is this product mostly made of? Is it fundamentally a quality food that just happens to lack sugar? Or is it something engineered to be sugar-free, potentially filled with something else that, might not be ideal in large doses, particularly for your gut? It pushes you to look beyond the marketing hype. Think critically about what the label isn't saying. That's a game changer for how you shop.
Totally. It's like those fat-free snacks from the 90s that were just loaded with sugar instead. Solved one problem, created another. So pulling this all together, this deep dive really highlights that sugar-free is just one piece of information. It's not the whole story about whether something is truly healthy or consequence-free. It really depends on what they used instead, how much, and how your body handles it.
Precisely. So the key takeaways, the things to really remember. 1. Maltitol has definite pluses: sweetness, fewer calories, tooth-friendly. Good reasons it's used. 2. But those come with a big asterisk about digestion, especially if you eat too much. That laxative effect is real for some people. 3. Reading the ingredient list, especially the order of ingredients, is crucial. It tells you what you're really eating, way more important than just the front label. And 4, that GRAS status doesn't mean unlimited consumption. Moderation is absolutely the key word with sugar alcohols like maltitol.
That knowledge feels really powerful, actually. It changes everything about how you look at labels from now on, doesn't it? Instead of just seeing sugar-free and thinking, great, you pause, you flip it over, you ask more questions. You make a truly conscious choice. It's about being informed, not just, like, wishful thinking.
It's amazing, really, how digging into just one ingredient like this can shift your whole perspective. starts with a chocolate bar, ends up changing how you think about food labels in general. It really does.
Yeah.
And understanding these kinds of details helps you cut through all the noise, all the health claims out there. It lets you ask smarter questions about what you're eating, what you're putting in your body, and, how it might actually affect you. Gives you the tools to look past the shiny packaging.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening.
Yeah, definitely. The next time you see sugar-free or maybe diet on a product label, could be in the store, could be at a coffee shop, just take a second. Think beyond just the missing sugar. Ask yourself, okay, what did they use instead? What other maybe hidden truths or surprising facts are waiting there if you just dig a little deeper? What could be your next deep dive?
Keep asking those questions, keep that curiosity going, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.